I see we have a little lab there. Or, but wait a second, I don't see. Okay, I think it's just for demonstration purposes. We don't need any flag from that. In the previous task, you learned that when an HTTP server responds, the first line always contains a status code informing the client of the outcome of the request and also potentially how to handle it. These status codes can be broken down into 5 different ranges. We have from 100 up to, let's say, late or end of 500. We have between 100 and 199 information responses, between 200 and 299 success responses, or status codes rather, between 300 and 399 redirections, 400 and 499 client errors, 500, 599 server errors. And that pretty much resumes it, because as we see here, it's between 100 and 199 information responses. These are sent to tell the client the first part of their request has been accepted, and they should continue sending the rest of their request. These codes are no longer very common, because we get the final response, which is 200 or 299, the success response. This range of status codes is used to tell the client their request was successful. 300, 399 redirections. These are used to redirect the client's request to another resource. This can be either to a different web page or a different website altogether. 400, 499 client errors responses used to inform the client that there was an error with their request. 500, 599 server errors. This is reserved for errors happening on the server side and usually indicating quite a major problem with the server handling the request. Common HTTP status codes. There are a lot of different HTTP status codes, and that's not including the fact that applications can even define their own. We'll go over the most common HTTP responses you are likely to come across. Well, if you think this is a huge list, just check the cheat sheet for TCP and UDP ports. Alright, 200 okay. The request was completed successfully. 201 created. A resource has been created, for example, a new user or a new blog post. 301 moved permanently. This redirects the client's browser to a new web page or tells search engines that the page was moved somewhere else and to look there instead. 302 is found, similar to the above permanent link, but as the name suggests, this is only a temporary change and it may change again in the near future. 400 bad request. This tells the browser that something was either wrong or missing in the request. This could sometimes be used if the web server resources that is being requested expect a certain parameter that the client didn't send. So check the parameters in the URL. 401, not authorized. You are not currently allowed to view this resource until you have authorized with the web application, most commonly with the username and the password. 403, forbidden. You do not have permissions to view the resources, whether you are logged in or not. 405, method not allowed. The resource does not allow this method request. For example, you send the get request to the resource create account when it was expecting a post request instead. 404, page not found. The most you are familiar with this one. If you go to the console, refresh the page and go to the network tab, you will see a lot of statuses, methods, domains, files, and so on. For a 404, it will display on your page. For that to be identified, I will try one here. You can actually see it. 404, nothing here. Now let's go back. Let's leave this little lab open and see what other codes we have here. 500 internal service error. The server has encountered some kind of error with your request that it doesn't know how to handle properly. 503 service unavailable. This server cannot handle your request as it's either overloaded or down for maintenance. Click the view site button on the right to see what some of these HTTP status messages look like in the browser. Okay. Right, so we have here, I see, actually, that was a different lab. This is the right one, but I see they already made the... yeah. This is a 404. 503 service unavailable and 403 forbidden. Okay, let's see the questions. What questions do we have in here? What response code might you receive if you've created a new user or a blog post article? 201. What response code might you receive if you've tried to access a page that doesn't exist? It's a 404. Page not found. What request code might you receive if the web server cannot access its database and the application crashes? Whoa! It's a 5... Wait a second, no. It's a 503. Because it says accesses the database and then the application crashes. It could be... No, I will say 503. What response code might you receive if you try to edit your profile without logging in first? It's a 400 or 401.